Hello everybody, welcome to Tarot to the Star. I am your host, Melody. Today we're going to be doing a ghost box reading on a few different people here that were part of the time period of Andy Warhol. And we will include him in this ghost box reading as well. Let's say our prayer to Archangel Michael first. Archangel Michael, please protect me and my viewers as I conduct this ghost box reading on Andy Warhol and people that he knew while he was alive. Please protect us from negative forces, negative energies, negative beings, demonic forces, demonic entities, demonic beings, and please do not allow these things to attach to us or attack us via ghost box now or in the future as we listen to this. Please keep us shielded in white light, Archangel Michael. Thank you. Amen. Okay. So, Andy Warhol, he was a famous artist. He did paintings that look like one of his famous ones was the Campbell soup can painting, where it was several Campbell soup cans, and it was on a canvas painting, I believe. I wanted to do this ghost box because a while back, I want to say maybe it could have been 2 years back, maybe a year back, I had a dream where I was talking to him and he had a lot to talk about. And people always, they've done interviews on him and he was always quiet on the interviews and not really talking. But, in my dream, he was talking and we were walking and he was very talkative if he knows the person. Or if he feels that, he can open up to the person to talk to them and they're easygoing. I got the impression that he was somebody that just didn't want he didn't want anybody to bother him for money. He just kind of wanted to live like a humble life in a sense. He bought some very nice, extravagant things, but he wanted to live a humble life. Like he would be the type of person that would eat soup, Campbell soup, every day with a sandwich, and he had millions of dollars, but, he's eating really regular food, and, he would walk around looking at things. I think with him, there was just so many people around his energy that were always trying to drain him and trying to get him to pay for things. I do know that he wasn't always correct with people too, such as like Edie Sedgwick and Jean Basquiat or Jed Johnson. But I feel like he was somebody that could be a little bit confused as to how he was seeing things. I don't think necessarily it's all his fault. I think sometimes with some of these people, he picked up on some things with them and then he started acting in such a way instead of just telling them, nicely, that, he didn't want them in his life anymore. Or that he felt that they were just too much, or, just telling them to, he wanted to see them less. So we're going to get into it and find out a little bit about Andy. And we're also going to talk with Edie Sedgwick, Jean Basquiat, Jed Johnson, which is a famous designer, and Jon Gould, which was a VP of corporate communications for Paramount Pictures. All these people were involved with Andy Warhol at some point in his life. So first, let's talk to Andy Warhol. Spirit guides. Can you bring forth Andy Warhol that passed away on February 22nd, 1987? I had a conversation with him, and I don't know if he recalls the conversation. We were talking, and he was really friendly and very talkative. Spirit guides of Andy Warhol that passed away on February 22nd, 1987 in New York, and he was a famous artist. Can you ask Andy Warhol if he recalls a conversation that he had with me in my dream? Spirit guides of Andy Warhol that passed away on February 22nd, 1987. Andy, have you been reunited with Edie Sedgwick? Spirit guides of Andy Warhol that passed away on February 22nd, 1987 in New York. Andy, have you seen Jean Basquiat on the other side? Spirit guides of Andy Warhol that passed away on February 22nd, 1987 in New York City. Andy, were you able to see the type of artwork that they have today? Spirit guides of Andy Warhol that passed away on February 22nd, 1987 in New York. Andy, I don't know if you know that they published your journals. What do you think about that? Spirit guides of Andy Warhol that passed away on February 22nd, 1987 in New York. Andy, were you able to see Jed Johnson on the other side? Spirit guides of Andy Warhol that passed away on February 22nd, 1987 in New York. Andy, have you been reunited with Jon Gould? Thank you so much for coming through, Andy Warhol, if you came through, and thank you for coming through, Spirit Guides of Andy Warhol, just to kind of let us know how he's doing. We're going to end the session with you, Andy Warhol, and Spirit Guides of Andy Warhol, and any spirits that came forward to speak on behalf of Andy Warhol. We will be ending the session with you all now, and we are saying goodbye to you all now. We are ending the session with you all now, and we are saying goodbye to you all now. Goodbye, we are ending the session, goodbye. So let us move on in this ghost box reading. The next on our list, I would say, would be Edie Sedgwick. Let's see how Edie Sedgwick is doing. Spirit guides of Edie Sedgwick that passed away on November 16th, 1971. Edie, are you here? Spirit guides of Edie Sedgwick that passed away on November 16th, 1971. Edie, were you involved with Bob Dylan? Thank you so much for coming through, Spirit Guides of Edie Sedgwick and or Edie Sedgwick, if you came through. Also, thank you for spirits for coming through that spoke on behalf of Edie Sedgwick. We are ending the session with you all now, and we're saying goodbye to you all now. We are ending the session with you all now, and we are saying goodbye to you all now. Goodbye, we are ending the session, goodbye. The next person on our list is Jean Basquiat. Spirit guides of Jean Basquiat that passed away on August 12th, 1988. Jean, are you here? Spirit guides of Jean Basquiat that passed away on August 12th, 1988. Jean, what did you think about being rich and famous as an artist? Spirit guides of Jean Basquiat that passed away on August 12, 1988. Jean, I've seen many of your paintings and they're quite remarkable. What would you say is your favorite one? Spirit guides of Jean Basquiat that passed away on August 12, 1988. Jean, was it hard for you when Andy Warhol had passed away? Spirit guides of Jean Basquiat that passed away on August 12, 1988. Jean, I don't know if you were able to see that two famous celebrities, a rapper by the name of Jay-Z and his wife Beyonce, posed with one of your paintings in the background. What do you feel about that? Spirit guides of Jean Basquiat that passed away on August 12, 1988. Jean, where did you get your creativity to create the paintings that you did? I mean, was it something that just came to your mind, or did you dream about it, or what? Spirit guides of Jean Basquiat that passed away August 12, 1988. Jean, I just want to say that I really loved your artwork, and your artwork is still shown around the world alongside with Andy Warhol's artwork, and many people still love you, Jean. Thank you so much for coming through, Spirit Guides of Jean Basquiat and Jean Basquiat, if you came through, and any spirits that came through to speak on behalf of Jean Basquiat. We are ending the session with you all now, and we are saying goodbye to you all now. We are ending the session with you all now, and we are saying goodbye to you all now. Goodbye, we are ending the session, goodbye. The next on our list is Jed Johnson. Jed Johnson was a famous interior designer. He was part of the factory with Andy Warhol. He was Andy Warhol's partner at one point, and he lived with Andy Warhol. And they were in a relationship for many years. And he has a twin brother by the name of Jed Johnson. Unfortunately, Jed Johnson passed away on a TWA flight 800. he passed away in 1996. The plane had crashed. Now, I wanted to bring Jed Johnson forward because he was such a sweet person. When you look at his, the interviews that they've done, where they've talked about him and how kind he was, and he loved animals, and he loved art, and he was a really good interior designer. It's really, really unfortunate, this whole situation, that his passing. So we're gonna ask him some questions. Spirit guides of Jed Johnson that passed away on a TWA Flight 800 in 1996. Jed Johnson, a famous designer, interior designer. We want to ask you what your relationship with Andy Warhol was like. Spirit guides of Jed Johnson that passed away in 1996 on TWA Flight 800. Jed, your brother Jay Johnson misses you and loves you, and he gets very teary-eyed when he talks about you in interviews. Do you miss your brother Jay Johnson? Do you have any words of comfort for him? Spirit guides of Jed Johnson that passed away in 1996 on TWA Flight 800. Jed, I want to say that you were a beautiful, remarkable interior designer. I did see some of your work, and it was amazing. And I wanted to just tell you that you haven't been forgotten. You are in many documentaries that go into the life of Andy Warhol, and then they also show you and how beautiful you were as a person and how you loved animals and art. And I just want to let you know that, that continues. These stories are being told about you in a continuous way, and people around the world can connect with you. Thank you so much for coming through, Jed Johnson, if you came through to speak with us. And thank you, spirit guides of Jed Johnson that came through, and any spirits that came through that wanted to speak on behalf of Jed Johnson. Thank you so much for coming through. We are ending the session with you all now, and we are saying goodbye to you all now. We are ending the session with you all now, and we are saying goodbye to you all now. Goodbye. We are ending this session. Goodbye. Last on our list is Jon Gould. Jon Gould was a vice president of the communications department of Paramount Pictures, corporate communications. Jon Gould was somebody that Andy Warhol was very fond of and cared very much about, and he had passed away a long time ago of the disease AIDS. So let's see if we can connect with Jon Gould. He was a beautiful person in life, and you know, if you ever look him up, you can look him up on Google and just look at his photos. You see how he lived life. You know, he did so many adventurous things. Very beautiful person, kind, loved animals as well. So let's see if we can connect with Jon Gould. Spirit guides of Jon Gould that passed away on September 17th, 1986, that worked at Paramount Pictures as the vice president of corporate communications. Jon Gould, did you love Andy Warhol? Spirit guides of Jon Gould that passed away on September 17th, 1986, and worked at Paramount Pictures as the vice president of corporate communications. Jon Gould, I know you left behind your family. Do you have any messages for your family, as they loved you so much when you passed away, and they're probably still missing you terribly and still love you? You were such a good person. Thank you so much for coming through, Jon Gould, and just responding to us today on our questions. We are going to go ahead and say goodbye to you, Jon Gould, and spirit guides of Jon Gould. We will say goodbye to you, as well as any spirits that wanted to speak on behalf of Jon Gould. We are saying goodbye and ending the session with you all now, and we are saying goodbye to you all now. We are ending the session with you all now, and we are saying goodbye to you all now. Goodbye. We are ending the session. Goodbye. And for those of you still watching Tarot and the Star, this was just a ghost box reading I was thinking about doing for quite a while, with all of these people kind of intertwined. They were all remarkable people in their own way. You had Andy Warhol, the famous painter of the Campbell soup cans, as well as celebrities. He painted celebrities. Then you had Edie Sedgwick. She was a aristocrat that used to be Andy Warhol's friend, and she would stay at the factory with him. And she was very fashionable. Then you had Jed Johnson, that also was from the factory, and he became a famous interior designer, making a lot of money. And then you had Jon Gould, which was the vice president of corporate communications for Paramount. Beautiful soul, beautiful person. So all of these people I kind of wanted to bring up and talk about. Oh, let's not forget Jean Basquiat. Beautiful soul. Jean, so young when he passed away. It was quite sad. And, you know, he passed away of an overdose in New York, I believe, in 1988. He used to he used to do graffiti on the streets, and it wasn't like just graffiti. He would do artwork. He saw things in a different contrast of color, and its vibrancy, and he was really in sync with his Cuban, Puerto Rican origin with African origin, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but I know he intertwined with both, as he was a part of both race. And beautiful smile, beautiful person, very rich, but he looked very disillusioned later on in life. If you look at his interviews later in life, he looks very sad, as if, he doesn't want to be a part of that anymore, It's just like, kind of like you just want to be a painter, and you don't want to have to deal with these snobby, aristocratic people, which he had to deal with, and people were treating him a certain way because this is New York City, 1988, and, they're looking at him a certain way because he's rich, and he looks like a rich African-American young man. And so they're treating him a certain way because, there are a lot of snobby people that can't relate to that, right? So he had to go through a lot of adversity. And Andy Warhol took him under his wing and helped him out. But quite honestly, Jean-Michel probably would have made it without Andy Warhol. He was a really good artist. Just as good as Andy Warhol, but in a different sense. His artwork was full of vibrancy and colors, and he put all kinds of characters, and it's amazing. If you guys get a chance, definitely Google it. Google Andy Warhol's artwork and Google Jean Basquiat's artwork. Very amazing. So I did want to bring him up, definitely. So thank you guys for joining me with Tarot and the Star today and watching today's program. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, do click on the like button. It puts that on the algorithm for other people to see it, and share this with other people. And comment if you want to leave a comment on this. This is to share with you guys all and do this ghost box to share what do these people think about things, right? And trying to get some information from them to see what they have to say about things. And I know there's always documentaries all the time in all of them. So I kind of wanted to wrap it all up in one and just ask a few questions of each one. So I'm happy that I was able to provide that to you today, as a fun thing, and more of an artistic slash executive slash I guess you could say aristocratic type of ghost box reading. So I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate every single one of you. Until the next time, talk to you then. Bye now.